When you recently did a video on Razer's translucent peripheral collection, I talked about how the Basilisk Pro mouse could replace my G502X, given how they're pretty much identical in shape. And it just so happens that if I wanted to replace my G915, then Razer also have something pretty much identical in most ways, with the Blackwidow V4 low profile hyperspeed right here, which just recently came out, and I managed to annoy my media rep enough to send me one. So let us see what is new, what is good, what is bad, and if Razer or Logitech do this style of keyboard better. Okay, opening it up, and we have the star of the show. This is what I'm talking about. None of this 10 kilos or compact or 60% or whatever nonsense we've been dealing with for the past couple of months on this channel. Finally, a proper full-size keyboard with a numpad. However, it is still not the exact same dimensions as my G915 because, as you see, there is something missing. Can you spot it? Yes, there are no macro keys on the left-hand side, and especially if you do a lot of video editing like me, those come in extremely helpful. Here, there is none of that, and instead, they found space for a co-pilot button. Ew. Now, I know that it is something that, you know, Microsoft are trying to make a thing. However, I really want to know down in the comments below how many of you would actually use a co-pilot key if you had it on your keyboard, or if you already have a keyboard or some laptop device or whatever that has that key, have you ever pressed it? Okay, I feel like I'm going a bit too hard on co-pilot key. Like, I know I can't hurt its feelings because it's just a piece of plastic, but still. Speaking of plastic though, I really do like the material that this thing is made out of. It is the same kind of brushed aluminum finish as a G915, but as you can see, the top here is a bit different, just to spice things up, just to give it a bit of a contrast right there. We still have everything you could ever want, including our media controls here. You can set 4 different modes right here. And of course, what I really love is a nice volume control here. And to the right-hand side, we have some additional options to play around with. We have a little key for our Razer Hyperspeed connection or Bluetooth, so you can choose, as well as yet another AI button, this time for Razer's own built-in AI stuff. So that's 2 buttons on this keyboard that I'll never use. And then finally you have a battery button, which is pretty self-explanatory. So self-explanatory, I'm gonna have to check in the manual what it does exactly in a second. So let's go on an adventure deeper into the box and find the manual hidden deep inside. I have no idea where I'm going with that, so let's just move on. We do have ourselves a nice cable. There's one thing that Razer always do well, is really nice braided cables, and also you have the little adapter dongle right at the end. Plus, you also have all of the other stuff you could ever care about, including a little startup guide right here, which hopefully will tell us what exactly it means. Okay, so it's basically, it'll either breathe green if it's charging, and if it's fully charged, it's gonna be solid green. So is it actually a button? Does it actually do anything? That's what I'm wondering about now, because apart from just the fact that it's there as an indicator, I don't think it can do anything, or maybe you could just set that by yourself. Oh, actually no, there it is. If you press it down for 3 seconds, you activate power saving mode. That's good to know, I guess. But wait a second, oh, there they are, phew. The most important part of any tech unboxing, I need to make sure that you get stickers. It's automatically like -5 points knocked off if your product doesn't come with stickers. Okay, one thing I was kind of confused by, I couldn't find a dongle anywhere. However, I have a sneaking suspicion. If I lift this flap here, that is where we're gonna find the dongle. And I was correct. And I do think I have to point it out in the year 2025, but you'll be charging it with a USB Type-C port, which is located right here. Let's turn it on and let's look at those colors go. Full RGB, as you can expect, all done in Razer's own app. But what is a keyboard if not a conduit between man and machine? So obviously the typing experience is all that matters in the end, not flashy lights. And in that regard, I mean, these are some pretty interesting switches. It is a low profile keyboard, just like my G915, so it is kind of very natural for me, though again it is at a bit of an awkward angle if you don't have a wrist rest. Now you have a selection of Razer's own switches for this keyboard, and if I just take that off, as you can see here, we're dealing with the orange tactile ones, so they have a pretty decent click to them, and overall I do really like the typing experience on it. It feels solid. It is very much the same kind of writing profile as on the G915, which I'm used to when I've been typing away at it for ages now. So I do very much like it. However, the thing that is just a deal breaker for me, despite how awesome it is, despite the fact that it is a pretty sweet wow build keyboard, is just the fact I don't have my macros, which is just a shame. You were this close, Razer. So close in winning this low profile, full size with media controls keyboard race with Logitech. But of course there's another thing to this equation, and that is the price. And this thing is gonna cost you $230, or your regional equivalent. That's a lot, obviously, especially just for a keyboard. However, that is the kind of Razer tax we've come to expect. But here's the interesting part. Its main competitor, the G915X Lightspeed, is normally $260. And I know it's obviously not fair just to constantly compare the two. And if you're already spending that much on a keyboard, I'd even just pay a bit more and have those macros if you need them. If you don't need them, however, and you're satisfied with Razer's way of doing things, and you like the way that this keyboard looks and feels, because it is still a very, very nice keyboard, then I guess you can go with this one instead. Links to it will be down in the video description below, alongside a Patreon, because even a single $1 a month truly goes a long way. Plus huge thanks to Gavin Burns, Justin Rage, Alan Vroniak, Bartosz Velko, Not a Pseudonym, Meg Sumner, and Shane Allcroft. But anyway, that's about it, so I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, then remember to subscribe, like, whatever, and I'll see you all in whatever I make next. Goodbye everyone. Goodbye.